Gemini. There is something you may have brushed past, without realizing it on a vague evening, in a conversation that seemed accidental, or in a moment when your heart suddenly softened for no clear reason. There is a truth the universe gently placed into your life long ago, but you walked past it as if it were just a strange breeze. The person you've been searching for, the one who brings calm to your mind amid 1,000 layers of thoughts, may have appeared in your life much earlier than you think. They didn't enter your world with thunder, nor with a dramatic collision, but with a quiet presence, subtle enough for your soul to recognize, yet easy for your logical mind to overlook. And maybe, even now, you still haven't truly allowed yourself to look directly at that truth. For Gemini, everything often begins with a feeling that's hard to name. You analyze quickly. You understand so much. But in love, that very sensitivity sometimes leads you astray. You crave intellectual stimulation, powerful sparks, adventurous stories that make you feel alive. But your soulmate doesn't arrive through any of that. They come through stillness, through a connection that needs no explanation, through a strange feeling that with them, you don't have to explain anything at all. You don't need to be smarter, more interesting, or more dazzling. You just have to be you, and that is exactly what confuses you. Because all this time, you thought what you were searching for was something overwhelming, but what your soul actually longs for is someone who softens your heart, slows your racing thoughts, and sees you in a way you've never allowed anyone else to see you. And you know, not everyone is lucky enough to encounter such a connection in their lifetime, but Gemini, you may already have. You just haven't allowed yourself to believe it. If you're hearing these words and a name quietly surfaces in your mind, don't dismiss it. Let that feeling stay a little longer. Let it remind you that perhaps your search was never about finding someone new, but about having the courage to look again at the person who has always stood quietly in a corner of your life. Part 1. The truth you missed. Gemini's soulmate is not the person you think. Gemini. Let me tell you this softly, like a close friend sitting beside you on a quiet afternoon, when your mind suddenly settles and you sense something shifting inside you. There is a truth the universe has sent to you many times, gently, subtly, just enough for your heart to flinch a little whenever it appears. Yet, you always dismiss it, the same way you tend to overlook things that feel too obvious, thinking they are too simple to be destiny. The person you've been searching for all this time, Gemini, is not a stranger, not someone you haven't met yet, not a brilliant love story waiting in the future, and definitely not the idealized figure your mind creates whenever you imagine the word soulmate. That person once entered your life in a moment so light, so small, that even a perceptive, sensitive Gemini like you didn't notice. And why didn't you notice? Because you've always believed real love must come with strong sparks, with obvious signs like a universe knocking on your door. Something that makes your heart race and your mind run faster than your emotions. You're used to connections that stimulate your intellect, people who make you debate, who spark your curiosity, who make you want to understand more. But your soulmate didn't arrive that way. They came with peaceful presence, with a look that quieted your mind, with a casual sentence that unexpectedly made you pause for a few seconds because it touched exactly what you were hiding. They entered your life not to confuse you, but to clarify you. Not to make you lose direction, but to guide you back to the path your heart abandoned long ago. Gemini is the sign of air. You change. You adapt. You think so quickly that many people can't keep up. You live more through your mind than your heart. And that is exactly why you often confuse temporary attraction with true connection. The people who make you curious, who make you decode them, who pull you into endless conversations, are usually not your soulmate. They are passing breezes, exciting, refreshing, but never strong enough to make you stay. Gemini's soulmate is the opposite. They slow you down, they steady your thoughts, they make you want to set aside your smart mask and simply sit beside them without trying at all. When you're with them, you don't feel the need to impress, to be interesting, or to constantly shift to keep the conversation alive. You can be silent and still feel safe, and that is what scares you. Because this piece feels right, yet strange, and it makes you feel as if you've stepped into a space you've longed to touch your entire life, yet always avoided. Gemini. It's not easy to find someone who can quiet you in a way that feels comforting. It's not easy to find someone who can see through both your layers. The lively, talkative, ever-changing one on the outside, and the vulnerable one inside, afraid of being misunderstood, afraid of being held back, afraid of being truly seen. But your soulmate can do that. They see both parts of you, the version you show the world, and the version you hide away at night. And you don't know how they do it, but they do. And do you know the most interesting part? Your heart knows exactly who they are. Only your mind keeps denying it, analyzing it, finding reasons to push that possibility away. Because if you acknowledge it, you'll have to face a bigger truth. That deep love doesn't come from dramatic sparks or fiery conversations, but from a soul that brings you back to yourself. And sometimes, the name that appears in your mind right now is the very person you've unconsciously turned to whenever you're sad, confused, or lost. They have always been there, not loud, not demanding, not chasing you. And Gemini, if your heart tightens even slightly when you think of someone like that, then maybe you've known the answer all along. And now, let me take you deeper. Pour yourself some tea or coffee, get comfortable, because the next part will help you realize that Gemini's soulmate has a very clear portrait, and a very familiar one. So familiar that you'll wonder why you never noticed. Part 2. The portrait of Gemini's soulmate, the person you can't help returning to. Gemini. When you think about a soulmate, you often imagine someone striking, someone who overwhelms you from the very first moment. But the truth is always different from what your mind pictures. Your soulmate is not the person who enters your life with thunder, drama, or a dazzling aura that spins you around. Your soulmate is the one who softens your voice, slows you down, and makes you breathe a little deeper every time you're near them. They don't activate your analysis mode. Like everyone else, they quiet your mind, the way water stills when the wind stops blowing. What's most special is that they understand both sides of you. The two worlds running parallel within a Gemini. They understand the cheerful, talkative, quick, witty version of you, someone who knows how to create a lively atmosphere anywhere you go. But they also understand the other side of you, the one you keep hidden so carefully, your vulnerability, the insecurity you feel when no one really sees you, your fear of being left behind, the worry that if someone looks too deeply, they'll discover you're not as strong as you appear. Very few people can touch that part of you, but your soulmate sensed it from the beginning without you needing to say a word. Gemini's soulmate is also not someone who talks too much or tries to fill every silence. They communicate in a way that makes you feel understood, not through the number of words, but through presence. They know how to create silence that doesn't feel awkward but safe. You can sit beside them, say nothing, and still feel the connection overflowing. You don't have to maintain the conversation like you do with others. You don't have to perform or adapt or shift to keep things interesting. Between the two of you, something strange happens. A single look or an unfinished sentence is enough for both of you to understand each other. And then there are signs Gemini usually misses, not because you lack sensitivity, but because you're used to explaining everything with logic, like the unexplainable synchronicities between you. One person thinks of texting, and the other sends a message first. One thinks of the other, and they unexpectedly appear. There are conversations where you accidentally say the exact same thing at the same time, and both of you laugh without knowing why it feels so funny. This alignment is not random, Gemini. It's something the universe reserves for special connections. Or maybe you've felt that strange familiarity when you're near this person, as if you've known them in another lifetime, or talked to them thousands of times, even though you've only met a few times in this one. Everything flows naturally, no awkwardness, no pressure, no questioning what to say next. And then, for no clear reason, you find yourself missing them. Not the heavy, needy kind of missing, but a light feeling, like a thread gently pulling you in their direction. A tender curiosity. A closeness that doesn't need logic. The point is, Gemini cannot stop returning to this person, no matter how much you try to rationalize or deny it. You may go through many interesting conversations, meet attractive faces, and step into new, stimulating experiences. But somehow, naturally, you want to tell them about it. You want their thoughts. You want to feel the peace only they bring you. Everyone leaves something behind in your life, but only this person feels like they are part of your personal evolution. And Gemini, do you know what makes them the most special of all? You don't need a reason to return to them. You return because you want to, because your heart leads you to them long before your mind can analyze what's happening. If you look closely, you'll see that this connection is unlike any other you've experienced. It doesn't explode, but it endures. It's not dramatic, but it's profound. It doesn't confuse you. It helps you find yourself. If reading this brings someone to mind, even if they appear softly, pay attention to that. The soul often knows long before the mind does. If this part makes someone rise quietly in your heart, like the video. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey together, and leave a gentle comment. I know who I'm thinking of. Sometimes, just writing it down helps you see the truth much more clearly. Part 3. The subtle signs that show you always return to this person, and why your mind keeps denying it. Gemini, there are things you feel clearly with your heart, yet you try to hide them with your mind. Not because you're foolish or insensitive, but because you're too perceptive, so aware of yourself that you know the moment you admit this truth, your life will shift in a direction you can't control. And Gemini fears most the feeling of losing their inner freedom. But no matter how many times you tell yourself, this is just a friend, just an acquaintance, just someone who happened to appear, the truth still reveals itself quietly through small actions you didn't realize you were making. And let me be honest, your soul recognized them long ago. Only your mind is still trying to deny it. Maybe you never noticed, or maybe you purposely ignored it. But whenever something important happens in your life, a successful project, a turning point, a terrible day, a decision that makes you anxious, the first person you want to share it with is them. Not your closest friends, not the person you're currently talking to. Them. The moment you pick up your phone, your instinct is to message them right away. That isn't just a habit, Gemini, it's soul connection. When you feel lost, when your thoughts split into two opposite directions like the very nature of your sign, the first thing you want isn't to analyze on your own or look up advice online. It's to hear their perspective. You trust them in a way you don't trust anyone else. They don't always say what's gentle, but they say what you need to hear. And you listen to them in a way you don't listen to anyone else. And Gemini, have you noticed they're the only one who can read your emotional shifts? When you get quieter than usual, they know. When your messages get shorter, they know. When you're tired but pretending to be fine, they still know. You always pride yourself on being unreadable. Yet they understand you effortlessly, without forcing, without invading, just by seeing you. And perhaps what confuses you most is that even when you disappear for a while, whether because you're busy, running from your emotions, or trying to open your heart to someone else, The connection between you two returns exactly as it was. No explanations needed. No apologies. No awkwardness. Just one small message. One brief conversation. And everything reconnects as if nothing ever cracked. It's as if there's an invisible string between you. Stretch it as far as you want, it never breaks. This returning isn't habit. It isn't loneliness. It's because they are where your mind rests. In Gemini's chaotic world, where your interests, thoughts, and emotions shift constantly, they are the one anchor that doesn't scare you. They don't control you. They don't bind you. They don't demand words you're not ready to say. They simply exist in the exact way your soul needs. But why do you deny this? First, because you're afraid of losing your freedom. Gemini needs space, the open air of the mind and heart. Feeling such a deep connection makes you think you'll be held back, tied down, trapped in intimacy you're not sure you're ready for. But the truth is, soulmates don't come to restrain you. They come to free you from the inner chaos you never speak of. You're also afraid of being seen. Not everyone is allowed into your real world. You're used to using intelligence to steer conversations, used to appearing in control. But with them, you can't hide. They look straight at you and see not only the lively, sharp version of you, but also your softness, your wounds, the parts you don't want anyone to touch. And that makes you want to run away and stay at the same time. But the deepest fear is losing emotional control. Gemini thinks a lot, feels a lot, but you always know how to categorize, arrange, and box those emotions. This connection refuses to fit into those rules. It makes you feel unpredictable, unexplainable, uncontrollable emotions. And Gemini, letting your heart lead instead of your mind, is what unsettles you most. If you feel like you've been denying something, like the video. Subscribe to the channel to continue this journey together, and leave a soft comment. I used to deny it. Sometimes just admitting it means you've already taken half a step into the truth. Part 4. Gemini's soulmate is beginning to drift away. The warning signs and why the universe wants you to awaken. Gemini. There are moments when your heart knows long before your mind can admit it. There are subtle intuitions, so light they seem meaningless, yet they leave you slightly unsteady whenever you think of a certain person. And if you pay close attention, you'll notice a truth that isn't easy to swallow. The person you always return to, the one who understands you in a way no one else does, the one who calms your mind every time you talk to them, is beginning to drift away. Not because they want to disappear, but because they cannot keep standing in front of a door you're too afraid to open. Gemini's soulmate is a patient soul. They have stayed for a long time, walking beside you gently, without demanding, without pressuring. They know you so deeply that they understand if they push, you'll run. So they chose to love you through steady presence, through unconditional listening, through leaving a door open for you any time you lost your direction. But even the most patient hearts have their limits. And lately, if you've sensed even the smallest shift in them, it isn't coincidence, Gemini. It's a sign that they have begun protecting their own heart. The first sign is that they reply more slowly. Before, the moment you sent a message, long or short, they always responded quickly, as if they were always ready to offer you a place to lean on. But now, they take longer. Not because they're suddenly busier, but because they're creating emotional distance. They don't want to keep being your anchor if you're not sure you want to stay. They don't want to love someone who shows up when lonely but disappears when happy. The second sign is that they share less. Before, they used to tell you about their day, their thoughts, their small joys, or their quiet worries. But now, they keep more to themselves. They no longer send those spontaneous messages. They no longer open up to you in the familiar way. And this isn't because they've changed. It's because they fear that if they continue sharing too much, they'll place their heart again in a place where it won't be met with the same depth. And the sign that hurts the most is that they are beginning to open themselves to others, not to replace you, but to protect their heart. When someone waits for you for a long time, there comes a day they realize they also deserve a love that is reciprocated. They begin noticing people around them. They start new conversations. They experiment with new connections, not because they want to leave you, but because they're learning to step away from the hope that you will choose them. And Gemini, I want you to understand this clearly. The universe is not punishing you. The universe does not take someone away just to make you hurt. The universe is testing whether you are ready to step into the love you've always desired but never had the courage to face. Deep connections demand courage. And you've avoided this for a long time. The reasons you've denied this truth are completely understandable. Gemini fears choosing wrong. You fear that if you open your heart, the person may stop being who you imagine. You fear commitment, fear losing your space. Because if the truth is that you've already found your soulmate, then you can no longer wander through emotional adventures. You would have to stop. You would have to choose. But if you don't choose, the universe will choose for you. And the distance you're feeling now is the universe trying to wake you up. Not to hurt you, but to help you see what is real, what matters, and what is worth walking through your fear for. Gemini, ask yourself one small question. If one day they truly leave, will you be calm, or will your heart hold an empty space no one else can touch? If the answer makes you hesitate, you already know what you need to do. If this part feels true for you, like the video, subscribe to the channel to continue this journey, and leave a soft comment. I can feel the distance. Sometimes just saying it brings you one step closer to your own truth. Part 5. The powerful calling. Gemini must choose between fear and soul-aligned love. Gemini, now that you've come this far, I believe a name has already appeared very clearly in your heart, no matter how many times you've tried to push it away. The emotional journey you've just walked through, from recognizing their presence, to understanding the unique connection between you two, to feeling the growing distance, none of that is random. It is a journey designed to help you see a truth your mind has delayed for far too long. You've already met the right person. You just haven't been brave enough to call them by their name. Throughout your life, Gemini has always chased excitement, novelty, and conversations that make you feel alive. You've always believed love must overwhelm you, must be charged with energy, must stimulate your intellect. But your soulmate doesn't send you spinning in intense emotions. They bring you back to mental balance, the one thing your heart has always lacked, but never admitted. Gemini's soulmate does not come to create drama. They come to soothe your mind, to heal the empty spaces you've never shown anyone, to give you a love that doesn't require you to be perfect or fascinating all the time. They come to give you a place where you can breathe deeply, a place where you don't have to worry about becoming a different version of yourself tomorrow to stay loved. But before you can reach that peace, you must face a very important choice. Will you choose fear, or will you choose soul-aligned love? Gemini's fear isn't choosing the wrong person. It's choosing the right person in a way that you know will change your life. You fear opening your heart because you don't know what will happen next. You fear speaking your real feelings because you're used to keeping a safe distance. You fear this connection because it is too real, too deep, too meaningful. But Gemini, ask yourself, how many connections in your life have made you feel peaceful even when you're silent? How many people see you from the inside, instead of only seeing the smart, vibrant mask you use to protect yourself? How many people do you keep returning to, even after trying to walk away? This connection is rare. So rare that if you let it slip away, You will not find another one like it. So, if you're unsure what to do, start with something very small. Open your heart. You don't need grand declarations. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to allow yourself to be honest about what you feel. You don't have to be certain about the future, only truthful about the present. Then the next step, also simple. Tell them something sincere. A small message. A gentle conversation. You can start with, "I've realized I've been thinking about you more than I expected lately," or anything that feels natural to you. The important thing isn't how you phrase it. It's the courage to speak what your heart has been calling out for so long. Because soul-aligned love doesn't need perfection to begin. It only needs truth. And if you can do that, you'll witness something magical. Everything between you two already has a foundation. It's simply waiting for you to touch it lightly so it can fully unfold. You won't have to chase, you won't have to prove yourself, you won't have to become your best version. This connection will move on its own because it is the right person, the right timing, the right soul. And Gemini, if your heart already knows the answer, let yourself follow it, even just one small step, because sometimes all it takes is admitting the truth, and the universe handles the rest. If this part feels like it's speaking directly to what you're experiencing, like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey together, and leave one simple comment: "I know who it is." That sentence isn't just a comment, it is an activation of inner awareness within you. When you write it out, you will see your heart clearer than ever, Gemini. If you've listened all the way to this point, it means a part of your heart has truly begun to open. Today's journey didn't just help you see your soul connection more clearly, it also gave you a chance to reflect on how you love, how you avoid, and how you listen to yourself. Life always sends us very subtle signs, but only when the mind is calm do we realize those signs are gifts, not challenges. The biggest lesson for you today is this: real love doesn't always appear in intense, overwhelming ways. Sometimes it comes in a peaceful form that confuses you. And what you need to learn isn't to run faster towards something new, but to learn how to pause and feel what is right in front of you. Give yourself a chance to look deeper into the one who has always been there, to see that what you've been searching for may have never left. On a practical level, you can start with small steps. Listen to your real emotions instead of overanalyzing. Allow yourself to admit who you keep returning to, and open the door for one sincere conversation. Sometimes a single moment of honesty is enough to open an entirely new path. If this video has helped you recognize something meaningful for yourself, leave a gentle comment sharing your thoughts, or simply write, "I am ready for the truth." Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue walking this journey together. Every like and every comment helps this message reach those who are meant to hear it. Gemini, you deserve a peaceful, profound love. You deserve a connection that allows you to be fully yourself. And no matter where you stand on this journey, remember one thing: the universe has never brought the wrong person into your life. Thank you for spending this time here with me. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll continue uncovering the things your soul has been waiting for.